If you are a new GM, then you've probably realized that anxiety might plague you before running into sessions. You might doubt yourself. You may doubt your ability to hold players' attention and run a great game. But listen, this GM anxiety does not have to plague you, especially if you're a new GM. You can overcome this. And in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how I was able to do this in my Game Master journey. I'm going to teach you one lie that most GMs believe that they shouldn't, that contributes to anxiety. I'm going to teach you one truth that every Game Master should embrace to help overcome self-doubt. And I'm going to teach you one crucial principle that if you will embrace it and keep it in mind as you run games, is going to really help to eliminate all anxiety altogether. If you want to squash Game Master anxiety and self-doubt altogether, then this is the video for you. Let's dive in. I don't know about you, but I do not like lies. I don't like people lying to me, telling me things that aren't true. I don't like to believe things that are not reality. And let me tell you something. There is a lie that plagues game masters today, especially new game masters. It comes in many forms. Part of it is the Matt Mercer effect, where we see these high production value D&D games on YouTube, and then we feel like we have to aspire to them, etc. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these things, but they contribute to this psychological lie that we tell ourselves. And this is this, that you can't make mistakes. You know what? Strike this one from the record. You're going to make mistakes, and that's totally okay. Running games and making mistakes is part of the journey. There is no way you're going to run a whole game without making mistakes, and you shouldn't even try to. That shouldn't even be the goal. I really want you to try to absorb what I'm about to say. This is so crucially true, and yet so few new GMs believe it until years and years later. But you can save yourself a lot of trouble if you will just absorb what I'm about to say and actually believe me. There is a lot of anxiety that comes from being afraid that we're going to make mistakes when running games. We think about messing up the rules. We think about running a zany character and having the players laugh and think it's stupid. We are afraid, we're anxious that players will lose interest, that our game will not be fun, that it will not be immersive, that there won't be enough action, that there will be too much action, that it'll be boring, all these different things. But listen, this is so crucial to understand. You're going to make mistakes. You're probably going to make all of the mistakes I just listed. And that's totally okay. And every good GM does it. I'll bet you that if you were to sit down across from Matt Mercer, who is an amazing GM, who seems to almost never make mistakes as far as I can tell for the most part, if you were to sit down from him, he would probably tell you about all kinds of mistakes he made while he was learning to play D&D, leading up till now being basically the top professional GM. Obviously, he's had a lot of practice and he was able to hone those skills. So messing up, making mistakes is part of the journey. You can laugh about it, laugh it off, talk to your friends about it. If someone actually is bored or disengaged, you can talk to them about it. You can learn and adapt. But listen, this is a collaborative game that we're playing together to have fun. And being afraid of mistakes will only increase your anxiety. And having that increased anxiety actually makes it more likely you're going to make mistakes anyway, because you'll be kind of overthinking it. You won't be going boldly. You won't be using your instincts quite as much. You won't be thinking fast on your feet with confidence. So lie number one, that you're not going to make a mistake or that you shouldn't make mistakes. No, you're going to make mistakes. Even if you try not to, you're going to make them. And that's totally okay. Totally fine. In fact, it's going to happen, and it's good, because every time you make a mistake, it's going to teach you how to be a better GM. Next, we need to talk about one truth that you really should embrace as a game master. And that is this: act boldly to unlock creativity. When you act boldly, you are going to be more creative. You're going to go for it. You're going to commit all of your resources to your plan A. You're going to burn the boats behind you, and you're going to probably give the best game master performance you've ever given. One of the big problems with the plan A, plan B type thing, I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but when we decide we're going to attack plan A, we put all our resources into it, it's much more likely to succeed. But some game masters hold back. They don't go boldly. They think, well, I'll dabble in this, or I'll dip a toe into it and see if the players like it. And then if they do like it, I will continue it. But if they kind of don't respond well, then I'm going to go with plan B. But I don't actually believe in this approach. I believe as game masters, we should go boldly. There's a few reasons for this. Number one, D&D is a game. It's an important game and it's a fun game, but it is a game. So why not go boldly? Or the worst that can happen is that you mess up, or that maybe you get a little laughed at, you share a laugh with your friends, maybe you're a little embarrassed. It's okay. the world won't end, and it'll be okay. It really will be okay. But let's consider not going for plan A, not going boldly. If you don't go boldly, you might spend the whole next session dabbling in things, not really showing their full potential. Your players aren't even given a chance to see what you can really do, and you keep defaulting to plan B because they're not responding. But friend, this could lead to you stifling all of your potential. What if you game for years, not going boldly into the session, not leaning fully into that NPC performance, not going all out in that villain monologue, not having the actual bad guys you want to have, running the actual encounters you want to run, the stuff you believe in, the stuff in your instincts, in your gut, would be awesome. What if you never do it? Because you are anxious, because you're worried about failure, because you doubt yourself. Friend, listen, these are very understandable fears and understandable concerns, but I must tell you, I'm going to tell you this, and I want you please to burn this into your soul as I tell you, because this is what I have found to be so true in my life. Go for plan A. Go for that thing you believe in. Go for that NPC delivery performance you believe in. Have that monologue you believe in. Do the combat you believe in. Have the encounters you believe in. You know what? You're going to mess up sometimes, and that is totally fine. But if you commit all of your resources to your favorite plan, and then you go for it with your full potential, it's so much more likely to land powerfully on your players and create an epic performance and an epic moment that they will be like, wow, this is amazing. I never expected for our game master. Is that him? Is this her? Is this our game master delivering this monologue? They're usually so timid. They don't usually take risks like this. And now all of a sudden they're taking this risk, and it's amazing. You are going to find that this is more true than you would believe it is. Like, it is so true that this happens. And it all starts with you deciding to embrace boldness in your game mastering, to go forth into places where your instincts, where your gut, where your creative mind is telling you to go. Now, you might say to yourself, GM Philosopher, this all sounds great, but to be really honest, I sometimes get a little lost. Sometimes my players go really off track, and I don't even know what to do next. Well, you know what? You can still use your creativity and go boldly. You might just need a little inspiration. This is why I created the Ultimate Plot Randomizer. I give this away for free to anyone who joins my email list. Simply click on the link in the description, sign up for my email list. You'll get awesome newsletters, updates, cool stuff, etc. But in the first email you get, which will come in the first 15 minutes, you can get a download link to this free ebook. This ebook contains 4 D100 tables that'll let you random roll plot arcs on the fly. Roll on the hook table, the complication table, the climax table, and even on the wild and wacky table to throw stuff at your characters that they've never seen coming. Grab this, print it out, put it with your stuff, and boom. Even if you want to go boldly and you don't have that inspiration for things like random plot hooks, if your characters do completely unexpected things, you need some new plot hooks on the fly, I will oftentimes random roll stuff, and then I will use my instincts to jump off of what I random rolled. And that is an awesome way to begin that creative process of going boldly. But whether you're doing it with your gut, whether you're taking inspiration from other things, whether you're taking inspiration from the players or using a random table, doesn't really matter as long as you find a technique that works for you and you go boldly into the game and you do not let your fear, your self-doubt cripple that amazing game master performance that you have inside of you, that creative potential that you can deliver. The only thing holding you back might be your self-doubt, that anxiety that is plaguing you. And I'm begging you right now. I'm rolling my persuasion check to ask you to please go for plan A, go for the thing you believe in, and please face that self-doubt and just blow past it. And you might be amazed at how good your next session turns out as a result. Now, as for this principle, this is the final point that I want to discuss. And this is actually relatively serious. This is a very important principle. I found this to be true across all avenues of my life, but it is especially true when it comes to game master craft. And this is the principle. Let competence fuel confidence. Here is the truth of the matter. We often get anxiety about things because we're unsure. We're unsure of the outcome. We're unsure if it's going to go right. But here's the thing. Anxiety is going to tend to be more prevalent when you're getting ready to run a game if you haven't run that many games or if you haven't run that many successful games, right? So the GM who's run 2 or 3 games, they're going to be probably understandably a lot more anxious than the GM who has run 100 games. Why? Because the GM who has run 100 games knows what to expect, right? They've been there, they've done it, they've run those combats, they've run those NPCs, they've experimented, etc. And the GM who has run 100 sessions is going to be more anxious than the GM who has run 300 really successful sessions. Now, as you start to get better at Game Master Craft, as you start to develop your skills, you're going to see more success. You have to fail on that journey, though, hence anxiety and self-doubt. In fact, I talk a lot about this in my book, From Self-Doubt to Storyteller, Overcoming Anxiety and Embracing Boldness at the D&D Table. This is an ebook I just recently published, and the topics I talk about in here are very closely related to this. This is basically a very honest assessment of my journey, the things that I learned, how I was able to overcome my new GM anxiety and embrace boldness at the D&D table. This book talks about things like understanding the roots of self-doubt, the key mindset shift, boldness over fear, competence builds confidence, practical tactics for building GM confidence, handling common doubts and fears, etc. But I want to show you something from this book, Embracing the Process, Try, Fail, Learn. It might sound cliche, but in TTRPGs, each misstep is an opportunity to understand what works and what doesn't. Here's how to leverage your failure to boost competence. You document the fail, you identify the cause, you brainstorm a solution, apply and experiment, and by treating each stumbling block as data, you move from random mistakes to targeted improvements. Over time, the cycle forges real competence. Now, I want to discuss this for just one more minute. This is really important. If you want to grab that ebook, it's available. Link is down in the description. You can pick that up right now for just $1.99 at my personal bookstore. I actually reduced the price because I knew I was going to be putting it in this video, and I wanted to make it very accessible for you guys. If you're a Ko-Fi member, Ko-Fi community supporter, of course, this is available for free, as all my ebooks are in the ebook library on the Ko-Fi. You can also find a link down to that in the description if you would like to support the channel and become a Ko-Fi member. But here's the thing. Confidence comes from competence, right? It would be a little wild for us to think, oh, I'm going to succeed at that the first time and there's no problem. It's going to be very successful. Everything I do here is going to be successful the first time. We probably inherently know that this is not true. So how do we get to the point, though, where we can think, yeah, I do believe in myself. I don't doubt myself. I'm pretty confident. Even if I mess up, I know I'm probably going to do a pretty good job. How do we get to that point if we're just starting out? The only way is through practice and competence, and then that leads to confidence. If you aren't running games, if you aren't running very many games, you're going to have a hard time building that competence, which is why I often think that running consistent games, even shorter spans, like maybe even like running a one shot every week for like 2 hours, this is going to be a lot more practice than running like a game once a month, even for 6 hours. Even though the time may not be that different, that consistent showing up and getting to try things and experiment is really important for building up that experience level. And that experience is what will give you confidence, because you will get better at the craft. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should let anxiety cripple you until you have a ton of experience. We talked about that earlier, going boldly and not believing the lie that mistakes are going to spell disaster for your Game Master Craft. In fact, mistakes have to happen, failures have to happen in order for you to become the kind of GM that you have the potential to be. But running consistent games, actually doing the thing you want to get better at, is such a powerful way to build those skills. And with that will come less anxiety, a decrease in self-doubt, and an increase in confidence. If you're looking for places to run games, you should jump into the GM Philosophy Discord. Link to that is in the description. We have a Looking for Games channel where players and GMs can like connect and start games. So if you think about running some games, don't have players lined up, feel free to jump in there, and there's some awesome people in there who'd probably love to play with you. And at the end of the day, I would just like to encourage you. Having new GM anxiety is a pretty normal thing, but it does pass usually, and it does come less prevalent. It becomes less oppressive with experience. And I would just encourage you, jump into that game and cover all the things that we've talked about in this video. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Go boldly forward. Don't be timid with your players. Don't be timid with the game. Don't be timid with the things you like to do. Go boldly. Really go all out. Let yourself be maximally creative. I think you'll be surprised at what you'll find. And then, of course, competence leads to confidence. And so get that experience, put in those reps, and you're going to find that your games are going to get better and better over time. And this will make you more confident and make you feel less anxious about it. And these are truly recipes for success. These are the things that helped me to overcome new GM anxiety to now where I am today. I don't really have any anxiety about running games. I just really enjoy it. And that's what I want for you. I want you to really enjoy it. So make sure that you follow these tips, and you should get well on your way to enjoying the craft instead of being anxious about it. And with that being said, that's all I have to say on this one. That's going to be a wrap for today. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode of GM Philosophy in the Morning. I'm here almost every day creating videos about the best game in the world, D&D. Roll some D100s for me at your next game, and I'll see you awesome people on the next one.